Hey everyone, it's Inder. Welcome back to another Inder's Notes. So why are you not enjoying Unite anymore? Well, my first guess is that you're one of 4 of the following types of players. You play the game with the intention of climbing and getting better. You like to try hard, not at a pro level, but the best that you can be. 2, you play the game either as a current pro like me, or with aspirations to get there one day. 3, you play the game casually, logging on to complete events and to try out new things like new characters. Or finally 4, you rarely play or don't play at all. You mostly come on YouTube to watch content. When you do play, it might be versus bots, standard games, but you're not really interested in the game anymore. Well, my current hypothesis is regardless of which player type you are, the game is becoming less enjoyable for you day by day. It's hard to pin it to any particular reason. Well, it might be things like Zacian and Comfy. They've got you down, you just don't want to play those characters, but it's too frustrating to play against them all the time. Maybe it's the introduction of the countless number of bugs that we have. We started the season with Slowbro being unplayable at Surf, Zacian Sacred Sword ignored almost all of your defenses, Dragon Dance on Dragon Knight was incredibly glitchy, or, Scyther or Shifu, Mew, all of these different characters just being completely broken, just to name a couple. Maybe it's the fact that you have to now look at your teammates' items and you can't cope with the fact that your Cinderace has EXP shared, stacking specs, and leftovers on. With the goal getter, make it even better with the goal getter. I mean, they also removed the quick jump, which was one of the best mechanics in the game that felt rewarding as a player. They still haven't fixed the number of crashes in the game. Sometimes your game literally breaks and you can't see anything on your screen. Trevenant and Sableye keep you locked down and you can't move your character at all. Those aren't fun at all to play into. Maybe it's just too much to deal with, and I think it's getting there. But I think all of those combined still don't have it as bad as the one big problem I think we're facing this season, and that's matchmaking. Now, normally, I'm a big believer that anyone can make it out of the matchmaking. We all have to deal with the same consequences, so it's not really that bad at the end of the day. That being said, I think that might still be somewhat true this season. Things have definitely gotten much worse. The system feels like it's literally broken and is working against you. The first proof that I have for this is that the #1 team on the ladder has surpassed what I think is 5,000 master points, something that was functionally impossible in the past. Now, with no intention to discredit their achievement, kudos to them. They've done a great job and they definitely deserve where they're at because they're working with the same system as everyone else. It's not very fun to have to deal with what they're doing right now. Those players, and no problem of their own, get to play the game as the highest rated stack on the ladder against veteran players, low master players, ultra players, literally anyone. And because 5 stacks can still play against duo queues and trio queues, you could pair up with your friend as 2 ultra players and have to play against the #1 team in the world while you just logged on to have a fun game playing, what might just be Hoopa and, Cinderace with your friend. Whatever it might be, that's not very good. Now, that's only 1 stack in 1 region. What does this mean for everyone else? Well, it means that even if I were to stack with my team or my friends, and we've been rank 1 on the ladder before, we've been really high rated, we could still be playing against literally anyone in the world that decided to duo queue, and that is past the veteran rank. That's not a fair system, and it's not what it used to be like in the past. They definitely messed something up, and I know the system is particularly messed up because I could sit down with 4 of my friends, we could all be around the same master points, we could see another 5 stack queuing up at the same exact time at us, with around the same number of points as us as well, and we won't match against each other. Even if we're in the same region, even if we're around the same points, we'll both individually get 2 lower rated stacks for whatever reason. It makes no sense. The system is obviously working against you, and it can feel really, really frustrating at times. Now, this isn't the case for all of your games, obviously. If it was, you would, everyone would be doomed with a 30% win rate. But it happens often enough that it can ruin your night, and it can just mean that you don't want to play anymore. Okay, what does this mean for solo queues? As a solo queue player, I play a lot of solo queue. I don't play against any 5 stacks at all. I think they've either patched that out of the game, or it happens so incredibly rarely that it doesn't really matter. How is the system broken for you in that regard? Well, they changed something at the start of the season, and if you paid attention to the patch notes, you would have seen it there too. What they did was they made it so that you maintain the same matchmaking elo, like your hidden rating, as what you had in the patch before. So say you ended around 1600 last season, you got squished down to the veteran rank as you would at the start of every season. They made it so that you would still get matched with players based on your 1600 rating. Now, the intention of this, I imagine, was to make it so that your game quality doesn't drastically change at the start of the season. I've seen other games do this, and they've made the same mistake that Pokemon Unite did. And what ends up happening is that the reverse effect ends up taking place. You end up having to play with much lower rated players to compensate your higher rated hidden MMR that you've got. And as a result, you end up having to play some of the most outrageous games of Pokemon Unite ever. And, you know, it's not to say that some players are just worse and they make the game objectively worse for you. I don't want to bring anyone down with the sentiment here. But at the end of the day, if you're someone that wins the game consistently, it doesn't feel really satisfying to have to match up with players that not only lose the game consistently, but lose the game consistently against other people that lose the game consistently, which is what happened at the start of the season. You saw, you know, players like myself, Chris Heroes, Gatlu, all of the top pro players all start the season with negative win rates, not because suddenly it's just a bad patch and we all at the same time just got significantly worse at the game, but the game was literally matching games that were almost impossible to win. Now, this obviously balances itself out. Our ratings come down, our hidden MMR gets more aligned with our true MMR, and we're able to kind of balance that out, and the games feel much more playable. But that being said, even in 5 stacks, even if they were to fix the matchmaking bugs that they have, the state of the balance is just too volatile for the current pick and ban or pick system to work. In competitive games, we have access to pick and ban features now, which allow us to draft Pokemon. Neither team can just pick the best 5 characters they want because they have to pick in order. You can't pick something that's already been selected. Teams can ban characters. So the game feels a lot more balanced, and I think they're balancing the game around this fact too. But for a high-rated 5-stack team, they could literally just pick the 5 best characters in the game for each role and just go at it. You could have a team that was Trevenant, Zacian, Comfey, or Shifu, Espeon, or Mew. In that type of team composition, you would never, ever be able to achieve in a normal competitive game that has pick and bans. But with the current state of the ladder, you can. So it seems like no matter what type of player you are right now, the game feels like it's pretty unfun to play. I'm not advocating for anyone to stop playing the game, because I still play this game every day. I play this game when I'm not streaming, play this game for outside of content, I play this game for content. Genuinely don't like other games as much as I like Pokemon Unite, but it still feels like a struggle. So I'm not going anywhere. I love this game too much, and if my influence means anything, if the influence of my peers means anything, I hope we can make enough noise so that at least the developers can start to hear what we're dealing with. And all I'm looking for are small improvements. You know, maybe we can have the game not crash as often. Maybe we can implement picks and bans for master 5-stack teams. Maybe they can revert the matchmaking algorithm changes they made. Whatever it is, I feel like a change needs to be done, and I'm all here for it. Thanks for listening to me, and goodbye.